You are now watching The Lone Blown. Blown!
If you're looking for one of the best places to buy codes online, look no further than atlaspokemart.com. You can use the code TheLoneBlown12 to save 12% off all of your instantly emailed codes. They got a lot of great codes on this website, such as Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, so if you're looking for anything to complete any of your collections, head over here, and the codes are great price as well. Thanks!
Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? We're back here at The Lone Blown, and today we're going to be going over Centiskorch VMAX. Now, this is a deck that is fallen out of the meta and already come back into the meta during Darkness Ablaze's release. And I think it's just due to early format woes where Centiskorch VMAX was poised to do very well, had semi-poor showings at the Atlas Pog Championships. I know for myself, I played this deck at the Atlas Pog, didn't sit well with me, and I kind of gave up on my home slice Centiskorch VMAX since then. After that, it's one of those things where I've been playing around with this deck after I've seen it pop up with some more success, and I don't necessarily think it's as good as Eternatus or ADP. It definitely can compete with those decks. Like any Welder deck, it's going to have its drawbacks of did you hit Welder or not. But I think this deck's in a much better position after we have a solidified base. Not entirely sure who came up with this new skeleton of the deck. I mean, it's very similar to what we've been playing before, but this version seems to be playing very well, at least for me, on PTCGO. That being said, if you're looking for the list, feel free to screenshot this image. You can either go to the description as well, because we got the list there, all my socials, feel free to follow me on there. And if you're missing any of the cards, feel free to go to atlaspokemart.com and use code TheLoneBlown to pick up any of the remaining cards you need here. So basically the way that this deck works is we use Volcanion going second. This is a deck you want to go second because Volcanion and Welder on the first term are absolute bonkers. Using Flare Start to power up your Pokemon, Welder to power up your Pokemon, and when I say Pokemon, it's going to be Centiskorch. You're just trying to see how much damage you need to do with Gmax Centiferno. So if you're playing against ADP, for example, you are going to need 6 energies, 240, plus the base 40 damage of Gmax Centiferno to get a knockout. And that's if they don't play Big Charm or anything like that. So when it comes to that deck, you only need to have 6 energies. When it comes to Eternatus, you need to have 8 energies. So 8, 16, 24, 32 plus the base damage, 36, 360 damage. So it just depends on the matchup of how much energy you need on Centiskorch. Do keep that in mind, and you don't want to overcommit to a Centiskorch, because you could always power up a backup one. You could always attack with Heatran-GX. This build does focus on Jirachi, because there are scoop up nets. You can scoop up net Zigzagoon, you can get Volcanion in and out of the active spots. So I mean, we got a lot of cool things going on in this deck. Everything else is pretty explanatory, where it's just like, Zigzagoon, ping some damage, Crobat, draw some cards. A lot of these are very common cards with nothing being entirely uncommon. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel too for more great content, and let's just jump into some games, show you what this updated Centiskorch deck can do. So our opponent's calling the coin flip, and we were able to win the coin flip. So the question of, would you like to go first? Even though my inner Zach is saying, yes, go first, go first. We actually do not want to go first with this deck. We want to go seconds. So I mean, this is actually a significantly better hand than a lot of people would realize. We're able to go Flare Starter on our first turn. We're able to go Welder on our first turn. Looks like we're probably playing against Eternatus. Now, the big thing that we got to watch out when we're playing against this deck is that our opponent can go Eternatus, attach a Dark Energy. We go Flare Starter, Welder onto Centiskorch. They're like, attach energy, play down Pokemon, bring up things. I would have personally not played the Zigzagoon down there because it's just not... Volcanion is not hard to get... Like, it's not hard to knock out. Unless their hand's so dead that they need to actually do other stuff. I mean, they're probably, if they're going to play Zigzagoon down again, I think that's a little bit of a mistake. But I mean, maybe they're just clearing their hand out for Crobat, like I said. So they could just go after our Centiskorch on the first turn. That'd be kind of spooky. Or on their second turn, I should say.
Looks like they have a great setup here. A setup that showcases that they're able to probably get a knockout on the Centiskorch. But that's what we got to go in here. It's kind of like we're salmon swimming upstream. Sometimes the bear's going to get you. So we're trying to avoid the bear here if possible. So let's go ahead here and discard a fire energy, which is also important. We want to get them in our discard pile for GMAX Centinferno. Looking through here to see what's prized. I mean, we prized a Centiskorch VMAX. We prized some Pokemon Communication. Nothing like extremely notable. So we will go for the Centiskorch. Play that down. Welder on to that Pokemon. I mean, I'm going to put down another Centiskorch V because that just sounds like the wave. We are going to go Fire Energy there. And I mean, our hand off the Welder kind of got blah. No Quick Ball, nothing to really follow things up with. So we're just going to go Flare Starter. I mean, it's not terrible. We need to Welder 3 energies. Well, 2 energies, attach one for our turn, and get a Centiskorch VMAX. So we need to find basically a Giant Hearth, draw Fire Energy and a Centiskorch, or a Dedenne-GX. Now, our opponent, if they're able to boss orders here, they need to have 7 Pokemon in play total. Right now they have 5. So if they get boss orders and 2 Pokemon, the Centiskorch is absolutely toast. So they have the 7 Pokemon. Will they find the boss orders is the question. That doesn't look like it. Okay, cool. We got past that one for sure. Let's just see what our top deck is. I mean, I guess it's possible. If we can get 2 energies in play, we can get the knockout with Heatran-GX, because Heatran-GX scales at 50, not 40, for Hot Burn GX. So, I mean, if we top deck something like Giant Hearth or Jirachi, we could be in a better spot. Or even Fire Crystal. So, I mean, let's end up the one with the energies. We have Switch anyways. So, we got Zigzagoon. I mean, I don't particularly like this, but let's go boss orders because their Dark City only works on basic Pokemon. Let's put Zigzagoon down. And we're going to switch here. So we're just going to try to bide out time. We fell into a dead hands, but you got to play your heart out if you're trying to see success at pokes. There's nothing else that I could have done that's better this game, as far as I'm concerned. And we're just at the mercy of our hands. So, like, when I was going through the deck profile, I'm like, sometimes Welder decks are just inconsistent. Sometimes Welder decks are just inconsistent. Okay. Will they find the boss orders is the question. They did find a way out of the active spot because their hiding dark energy will allow them to get free retreats. I mean, the Marty here, if anything, is a blessing, in my opinion. So we have a research. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, if anything, I want to just top deck a Dedenne or something like that, and then just get rid of this hand, because it's not necessarily going to do anything particular for us. And I think they're just trying to build up damage on the Centiskorch V. If they get 5 damage counters on there, they need 2 more. They can get an Oko with Dread Ends, which seems like a fair enough plan. So let's see what we top deck here. The Pokegear there is not going to help us. So in case we get like a switch or something like that, I'm just going to put the Volcanion down. Boss orders here almost seems absolutely negative. Most of their Pokemon have a single energy retreat cost, and they also have Dark City in place, so let's keep that in mind. Scoop Up Net's going to do nothing. I mean, I do have an opportunity to put the Volcanion back.
I might as well see what our options are with Pokegear to see if there's something we want to pitch. Not that there's anything we'd want to pitch. Okay, let's go Centiskorch VMAX. I mean, I really don't see there being too much else to do here. Even if we already attached an energy, we've already played our supporters, so the most that we could do is this. So you can see we're slightly behind on the damage. Now, if our opponent's not able to get an OHKO on us, we might be in an okay spot. But I mean, I think we're just a couple turns behind. We struggled this game. If our opponent doesn't get a one-shot, they could just free retreat into the other one and force us to find a boss, which we've discarded 2, which means we have to use our Eldegoss in order to get things. Oh, you wanna know what? Maybe. So if we go for a Heatran-GX play, which I'm not entirely against, actually, our 8th energy gets the knockout. 8 energies, yep. So that does get a knockout on their active. They just might have missed if they can't get their scoop up net plays. Let's just go quick ball away this. Now, if we go to Dedenne-GX here, we might be able to get another Centiskorch VMAX going. So we go Welder once. This is 50 anyways. Yeah, let's focus on the Volcanion there. They're gonna go well played. I don't know why they're doing that. I could go 7 energies off the active and just go GX attack. I think that's better. It gives us more opportunity. Or does it? Because they can knock out anything with 270 damage. If they have scoop up net and everything, I think we're just in a rough spot. Okay, so let's try to go switch here. We've got options still. Okay, let's bring the Jirachi back because we actually need to get the knockout. I don't see any reason not to put Crobat down at this point. So I'm actually just going to discard that, not grabbing the fire energy because we already attached for our turn. Crobat to try to find reset stamp. I mean, not much that we could do there. So let's just go G-Max Sentinferno. And when our opponent's saying well played, I think it's possible that they have it. We'll see. Maybe they're just upset with their hands. There's those Pokemon communications. That would have been pretty clutch. Maybe not. Okay, looks like they if they have it, they have. Okay. Yeah, so I think they should just be getting it. There's their knockout there, and then we have to just sacrifice a Pokemon. If we were able to get out the Centiskorch VMAX, we might have been able to do it. But again, just no access to the Centiskorch VMAX, considering we drew both of those off of. We drew both of those off of the prize card. So I mean, tough game, but let's jump into another one. Okay, so we won the coin flip again. Lucky us. Would we like to go first? No. So based off last game, again, we just want to go second with the Volcanion play. Now, this is like choosing between our children. I think we want to start with Eldegoss because at least you could bounce Eldegoss back into your hands. It's only going to become more valid late game. And our opponent's playing ADP, so starting right off, not particularly everything that we wanted to have going on here. But that's okay, it totally happens. Looks like they're getting set up with no problems. There's their energy. Now, if we can get to the active spot, I might want to go with a Centiskorch here. I don't know if I want to put that down in, but I'm just going to try to get it out of the hands. Let's just go on to Dedenne right there. Or actually, let's just go there in case they get Big Charm. Now, we have 6 cards in our hands. Do I want to try to lower our thresholds? I mean, I'm gonna discard this. We need 6 energies, so I mean, if we don't get a welder, I'm gonna go with this. I think the strategy might be safer against their metal energy, especially considering they've already discarded 2 energy switch. So it's situationally why I'm doing this. I am going to Crobat to see if we can get to the active spot, though. Now, let's go ahead. Actually, if I go Welder on there too, they're not going to get a knockout with their Zacian. So yeah, let's go ahead here and Welder onto the Centiskorch. I'm just gonna double check. Let's go Pokemon Communication, putting this away. If there's another Pokemon I want to knock out or discard more than Volcanion, I'll do that, but honestly I think that's the Pokemon we want to discard the most. So we're just gonna grab a Dedenne-GX so we can pitch our hand away. And we're just really hoping for that switch here. We didn't get switch and we fell into a dead hands. Kind of. I'm just gonna pass there. Quite unfortunate because we could have stopped our opponent from going for their altered creation. But I mean, if we top deck a Giant Hearth, we're in a good spot. Like I was just about to say, our opponent could also Marnie us. Not a typical supporter in ADP too much anymore. Like, they don't really focus on it as much, but let's see exactly what we could do here. So this hurts a lot. So all we could do here is Welder. I could have probably also welded at the active spot. Retreated and attacked. That's probably would have been better. But like, what else am I supposed to do here? We're just behinds. So I'm just gonna pass. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. We need to hope that we can avoid our opponent's boss orders this game. Or that they somehow missed an energy, which they didn't. So I mean, if they decide to go a little bit overboard with some of their things, you can see that they're probably grabbing an ADP to discard with the Dedenne-GX. If there's boss orders in the hand, that seems like it's okay. They just don't have the boss orders yet. I don't know if they play the Pokemon Catcher version, but it is something that we could consider. Okay, try to get that knockout this turn is the plan. Could they run out of energies? Probably not. Okay. Okay. So we need Basically, I think we just need Eldegoss, if that's a possibility. Eldegoss getting back a Welder. And like I said, we're trying to do everything that we possibly can here. We're going to reset stamp our opponents, and we're just going to attack. We win the game 2 turns after this if our opponent's not able to find a Pokemon catcher or a boss orders. Additionally, if we can knock out their Zacian, we could put ourselves in a better position. So we just drew 3 prize cards. I mean, there's a boss orders. If they don't have a catcher or a boss, we have a chance. It's probably for an Eldegoss. Yeah. So I mean, they got the boss orders. They played extremely well. They're just gonna get the knockout. It happens. I mean, it sucks when I want to showcase what a deck can do, and then it seems to fall flat on its face. But here at the Lone Blonde, we always, my goal is to show you the realest side of Pokemon. And this is me, a player who's, I've seen a lot of success with fire decks. Beyond that one play where I could have attached to an Eldegoss instead of going Welder on a Centiskorch, which I immediately noted, I don't think there's too much else that could have been done there. It's one of those cases where Welder decks are inconsistent because you're drawing 3 cards, whereas other decks such as Heatran-GX are just playing Professor's Research to rip through their deck at 7 cards per turn, and they don't need the energy acceleration to keep up. I mean, it's a viable strategy for sure. It's seen success in online events for sure. But if you're worried about consistency, it might be something you might want to work on. One thing that is noted is that Jirachi, Scoop-Up-Net, Zigzagoon were not as strong in those games as they have been in other games. Perhaps that's something that the metagame's already changing. So those cards might be the first cards to cut. However, I do like the Scoop-Up-Net version of this deck right now. I'm not going to immediately jump on the conclusion based off any 2 games of Pokemon. So I mean, Centiskorch, give the list a try out yourself. I hope it goes better than it did for those games, because yesterday I was on a complete win streak with this deck, tearing it up, and beating some of the more important matchups. So I think Centiskorch is definitely a top tier deck. Is it Heatran-GX? Is it Zacian ADP? No, that's the majority of the format, and that's where our troubles lie with this particular format. Can it compete with those decks? For sure. Can it compete with other decks? For sure. So I mean, that being said, this deck is extremely viable. Give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Maybe you'll do a little bit better than I could. That being said, I really appreciate y'all watching. Thanks so much, and have yourself a great day. Use code TheLoneBlown to save when you're registering for Hyperlux events. It will save you on your registration, and there's some large prizes. Be sure to check it out. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks, and have yourself a great one.